Finally, we've been shown the first footage from the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2. Johnny Cage, Shao Kahn, and Kitana are the sequel's debutantes who have intrigued fans the most since the announcement. Additionally, the images offer a glimpse at the return of Scorpion, once again portrayed by the inimitable Hiroyuki Sanada. On top of that, the creators gave a lengthy interview, revealing a ton of new details. So, right now, we'll dive deep into all the news about the second Mortal Kombat installment, and share what's coming with the changes ahead. Get comfortable, because, as always, it's going to be exciting. Naturally, we'll start with the most talked about photo, which gives us our first real look at Johnny Cage, played by Karl Urban. Even back when it was announced that the actor had landed the role of this fan-favorite character, the internet practically split in two. Some shouted that he was totally wrong for the part, because of star, because he's a brunette, and because he's far from a karate expert. Others, however, believed in Urban's charisma, acting talent, and the magic of cinema. The first leaked social media shots generally sparked hope that Cage would turn out fine. There's the signature belt, the sunglasses, the posters, even green motifs in the logo. But now we can really assess how Urban looks in this new role. And honestly, from a visual standpoint, he looks pretty solid. The classic fighting stance, lightened hair, and leather jacket make him very reminiscent of the game's Cage. However, game co-creator Ed Boon noted that Urban brings his own style to the character. In many ways, he deviates from the traditional Johnny seen in the games. That said, at test screenings, the actor made a huge splash and became the main source of humor in the sequel. This, of course, inspires optimism, especially given the conflicting statements about straying from canon. Let's hope Urban truly proves to be so good that all doubts about him vanish, and there's no need to worry about Cage at all. The photo also reveals other intriguing details. For instance, judging by Jax, Liu Kang, and Sonya standing in the background, it seems Cage might be in the process of unlocking his arcana. For those who forgot, this is a concept invented specifically for the movie to justify the hero's superpowers. However, in the upper right corner, you can faintly spot figures holding what looks like a halberd, or some similar weapon. This strongly hints at a scenario reminiscent of scenes from both the original film and game locations, where arenas are filled with belligerent spectators. This suggests that in this shot, Johnny is already fully equipped and gearing up to fight in the tournament. Thus, the sequel won't spend much time on build-up like the first film did, quickly bringing us to the central plot point. Speaking of which, Ed Boon recently elaborated on this in an interview. The game's creator took a more active role in the sequel, so he knows what he's talking about. He revealed that the sequel will feature the iconic tournament between warriors of Earthrealm and Outworld. We've known this for about 6 months, but here's the interesting part. Boon said the tournament's score will be symbolized on screen throughout the film. The creative team devised a visual representation of the participants' wins and losses. What this means and how it'll look is hard to say just yet. We'll likely get more details with the first trailer. But logically, it's unlikely to be a scoreboard like a Champions League final. More likely, the writers came up with a place where the score will be visualized right after a fighter's victory. Naturally, it'll be steeped in magic and tied to the souls of the defeated. Still, it's a curious statement, and we're eager to see how it plays out in the film. Boon also emphasized that the tournament's progression will shape the franchise's future direction. This isn't surprising, as it's the most iconic part of Mortal Kombat. The decision to exclude it from the first film has already backfired on the creators multiple times. The reboot's storyline unfolded before the tournament began, but now it'll form a major part of the sequel. Some insiders claim the tournament might span not just the second film but flow into a third. Such a development would deviate from the original trilogy plan. According to the early version of the overarching plot, we were supposed to see 3 distinct phases. First, the gathering of fighters and an introduction to the world's mechanics. The first film managed this, albeit clumsily, while introducing the Arcana and Cole Young. Then, the sequel was meant to focus on the tournament, which all involved parties confirm. The third film was set to dive into Shao Kahn's invasion of Earthrealm with his army, an event woven into nearly every game in the series, impossible to sidestep. The tournament was supposed to unfold under the shadow of defeat. If Earthrealm's warriors lost, Shao Kahn could unite with them and invade Earth. This made every fight critical. However, even after Earthrealm's victory, the Emperor wasn't deterred, setting up the third film's plot. If recent rumors hold true, and we only see the tournament's conclusion at the end of the third film, it suggests the writers are saving the war for a future trilogy. On one hand, this is good news. It means the team and studio are confident in the film's success ahead of time. On the other, it feels premature. Subtitles added by D. Matorzak. The first film's modest box office was easily chalked up to the post-pandemic period, when cinemas were a mess. Some films hit theaters, others went straight to streaming, and audiences were still hesitant to leave home. There's some truth to that, sure, but let's admit, the reboot made plenty of mistakes on its own. It seems the sequel is indeed fixing most of them, judging by test screenings and plans for another trilogy. We can't overlook the visuals of the other newcomers either. The release photos also give us our first look at Princess Kitana, played by Adeline Rudolph. Her steel-bladed fans are lifted straight from the games, or at least very close to her signature weapon. Her outfit, though, seems more modest than what gamers are used to. Comparisons to the 90s Mortal Kombat ideology are inevitable, but in fairness, the new Kitana looks quite decent. The same goes for her stepfather, Shao Kahn. Martin Ford as the Outworld Emperor is barely discernible in the first shot. He's wearing a helmet close to the game version, but it seems he's in fuller armor. His red eyes only amplify his tyrannical aura, and he makes an epic impression. This time, we can be confident the Emperor is genuinely intimidating, not a cartoonish villain. But beyond the newcomers, we're also getting the return of characters who died in the first film. Ed Boon explained why Mortal Kombat 2 is bringing back the dead and how it's justified in the story. Thanks to the introduction of the Netherrealm, fallen fighters can indeed return to life. The MK creator explained that souls will be a key concept in the sequel, enabling dead characters to come back. This gives the film a perfect chance to rework old fighters, meaning it's not just Bi-Han who will get a shot at rebirth. And since the story fully introduces the Netherrealm, the first film's deceased heroes will have plenty to do in this location as the tournament unfolds. After all, it's no coincidence that Kung Lao is slated to return in the sequel. Naturally, we're expecting a rematch and the continuation of the legendary rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The latter, as we know, will become Noob Saibot, but despite this, their feud will run like a red thread through the entire Mortal Kombat 2 plot. Ed Boon confirmed this too, generously sharing details. He also added that Scorpion won't be part of the main hero team. For him, Shao Kahn isn't the primary threat, so we likely won't see him at the tournament itself. Still, Scorpion's appearance will significantly impact all the film's storylines. This draws a parallel to the first film, where we got a stunning intro with Hanzo, then waited an hour and a half for the finale to see him again. Let's hope history doesn't repeat itself exactly, and we'll see Scorpion more often. Though, with the huge roster of new fighters, there simply might not be enough screen time. Beyond the already mentioned newcomers, the sequel introduces Jade, Queen Sindel, Quan Chi, King Jared, and Baraka. They'll greatly expand the film's story, but their inclusion will directly affect how much time the established characters get. Here's hoping it doesn't all devolve into a rushed mess with characters thrown in just for the sake of it. Cole Young's fate also remains an open question. After the first film's premiere, the decision to introduce a new hero and center the plot around him didn't sit well with most fans. Instead of the familiar Liu Kang, we got a then faceless character whose existence was justified by his ties to Scorpion. Obviously, they can't drop him now, but shifting him from the spotlight is possible. Many have noticed that Cole Young is currently absent from promo materials. All the focus is on Johnny Cage. Even Louis Tan, who plays Young, noted that Urban has become the heart of the second film. Does this mean we're in for a soft reset of the central heroes? It's doubtful for now, but we'll only know for sure after the film's release. Overall, Mortal Kombat 2 still has a shot at success and audience approval, despite the first film's controversial choices. The franchise is too beloved and iconic to get lost among competitors. So, we're rooting for the creators to pull it off this time. We're eagerly awaiting the first trailer, which isn't far off. The sequel is slated for release on October 24th, so we've got about 6 months to wait. In the meantime, be sure to share your thoughts on the first footage and any lingering concerns about the sequel's fate. That's all for now, friends. See you in new videos soon.